Hello everyone, I am Prathamesh. Hope you're doing well. In this video, we're going to look at an interesting chess position. So let's get started. So this is the current position. It is white to move. Counting the material, white is a pawn up, but black has a passed pawn, while white pawns are not going anywhere. So what could be the best possible sequence of moves for white here? You can pause the video and think of the possible solution for white and write your answer in the comments below. Now let's get to the solution. So here, as it is white to move, white has to stop the black from winning on the g1 square. So there is a rule in chess which is the rule of squares, with the help of which we can check if the opponent's king will catch a pawn or not. So basically it states that if our white king was in this square, then it could have stopped the pawn, but as you can see it is out of the square, so it cannot stop the pawn from winning. So for example, if you consider one of the natural moves, that is queen to g6, then it is losing because then black goes g4, the white king tries to catch by king g5, g3, king g4, g2, king g3, g1 queens. You can see black is a queen up, so it is impossible for white to win from here. One interesting point here is that even if black blunders his queen, now suppose white goes king h3, even if he plays a move like queen g2, he can just take it and it is a theoretical draw. It is a draw because the black king is on one of the key squares, that is h8, and for a rook pawn, if the opponent's king is on h8, then it is a draw basically, as the pawns cannot advance and nor the king can support the winning square. So for example, if we look here, we can just move king h7, king g3, king h8. Basically black can just go king h7, king h8, and white king cannot enter the key squares that are required for to promote the pawn. He can just play along over here. So now here, and white cannot enter because all the squares are controlled. So now he can go king g8, and even if he tries like to give h7 check, he can go here, and if the king goes on f6, then he can take the pawn and again come here, and he can again move king h8. He can go king g8, king g6, king h8, h7, and this is a stalemate. So this is a theoretical draw. So black cannot lose in this position even if he blunders his queen. Now looking at the other moves, other candidate moves, he can also go to king e6, but then simply again the pawn queens, and we cannot stop the pawn from queening. So yeah, this is a basic win. The king is cut off, king can just take these two pawns, we can just checkmate with the help of the queen. This also moves does not work. So one thing to notice here is that it is impossible to stop this pawn, so we have to look for another tricks. So we can look for some stalemating ideas over here. One thing to notice here is that if the black wins and the king is in this position, then he can easily checkmate him by just picking up these two pawns and then performing a mate with the help of the queen. But if the king is on the h file, then there could be some stalemating ideas, as king would not be able to move out when the pawn queens, as this g file would be covered and there are no other squares for king to move. So one thing that could come to mind is king f6, g4 as usual, king g6, now g3, h7 important move to keep a shelter to the king, g2 only move, king h6, and there is no other move for black to, so he has to make g1 queen, or even if he doesn't promote to a queen, he promotes to a rook, then also this is going to a stalemate. As this file is covered, king has no other place to move, so this would be a stalemate. If he promotes to a knight, then also it would be a draw, as the black cannot perform checkmate with the help of a knight or even a bishop, so that would result in a draw. Now you would think of like, why does king g6 does not work over here? So now if king g6, then the problem is g4, and if we try to hide here the king, so if you go h7, then he will go g3, king h6 only move, otherwise it is just dead lost. Now black goes g2 and white has to come out of this h file, so he can either go king g5, king g6, it doesn't matter. Suppose if king g6, then g1 queen comes with a check, so he has to like move, so he can later then pick up the pawn and perform a checkmate. It always feels good to like have a stalemate on the board. So do you have any games where you were like queen down and there was some stalemating tricks? Would love to see them. Please do mention them in the comments below. So yeah, that is it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.